It's your favorite actor, rapper, producer, engineer, musician, filmmaker, all things in between. Ace Anderson, aka the Modern Renaissance Man, and I'm back with another video, another live video, because I'm here every Monday for y'all to give you motivation, tips on how to succeed in being a content creator, being whatever it is that you want to be. You know, my goal, I feel like, is to help bring out the light in other people. I want to help everybody shine, right? Because God has given me a gift of knowing what I want to do. I've known what I want to do and who I want to be from a very young age, and I want to make sure I'm giving that to y'all, right? So check us out. Today we're going to be talking about 5 strategies that you can use to up your social media game while also staying motivated and productive. I just lost my screen, so what the heck is going on? Okay, no, I'm back. We back. All right. So first off, I gave this whole introduction. I was telling y'all like all of these nuggets, and now like all of that is gone. So this is just what happens, you know. But I want to make sure that y'all are staying motivated. I want you to know how you're staying productive. Every week we are going to be dropping nuggets. I'm going to have guests on. I'm going to be doing this a lot more often and hopefully with less kinks in the system. So bear with me. So first off, number one is define your goals and your priorities. You want to make sure that you know where you're headed. Life is a map. It takes you from point A to point B, right? You draw a line in between, and that is your map. That is your rubric for how do you get from that place to the next place, right? Somebody else could use that. How did you get from here to here? And so that's what we mean by giving direction. And if you don't understand your goals and your priorities, then you have no point B. If you have no point B, then you have no direction. And life without direction means that you're aimless. And if you're aimless, you're lost. And if you're lost, you're very soon to be, let's say, the D word. Which, not to get too dark, but you know, that's not a good strategy to have no aim, right? You don't want to be aimless in life. You always want to be aiming towards something, and hopefully whatever you're aiming towards is up. You hear the phrase aim for the moon, and even if you miss, you'll land amongst the stars, right? Like, you always want to be aiming up towards a greater goal, a greater purpose. So writing down, make sure you write down your goals. We got a song, me and G have a song called Write It Down, right? Fucking now, gotta write it down, right? Fucking now, gotta write it down, right? Fucking now, gotta write it down, right? Fucking now, right? Because you need to write your stuff down. Is so important. Like, our brains, we like to think that we can just remember everything, and you know, and yes, we can challenge ourselves to memorize things, and we should challenge our brains and push ourselves to our capacity, but also just like write it down. Even if you just have a little notebook. I like to carry I carry so many of these. I've purchased so many of these little notebooks. I just love to write stuff down. I have notebooks on notebooks. It's so important to record your information, and you can have different types of notebooks, right? Like I have a calendar type of notebook. Let me see if that's not gonna. There we go. So I have a calendar type of notebook, right? That I like this type of calendar because it has the weeks on one side. It has the a list on the other, so I can just kind of make a list, and I have a system for how I cross things out, move it to the next week, and I just like to be able to look at 1 week at a time. So writing things down is going to be super crucial to making sure that you're understanding of your goals, right? You want to be able to see it. People do vision boards, people do stuff like mind movies, which we'll talk about in another episode, but making sure that you're writing things down so that you can always be on the wave of your of your goals. You want to be on the right path towards your goals. So number two, please drop your comments, drop your questions, your comments in the chat box, and I will be sure to get to them at the end. This is only 15 minutes, so we're just gonna fly through this thing. Number two, create a routine and stick to it. That's crucial, right? If you're trying to stay motivated as a content creator, you want to make sure you have a routine. I like to give myself 10 things that I do every day before I'm allowed to touch my phone, right? Because a lot of times if you wake up early and you're going to touch your phone and you automatically get consumed with all of the negative things that is on associated with your phone. You got the news, which the news is just all doom and gloom. I recommend not even really paying attention to the news because it's just gonna get you down. And a lot of times the stuff that's on the news doesn't even affect you, right? It's like it really doesn't in your day to day. It really doesn't affect you. In terms of being involved in in your government, in voting and stuff like that, that's a different story. And you should definitely do your research on candidates and people that you want to support, and in helping move your society forward. But beyond that, the day-to-day news, how many people got shot today, another natural disaster happened in this, all of that stuff is just going to make you lose focus on your number one, with your priorities and your goals, right? Those are the main things. If you're trying to be a content creator, you're trying to stay productive, you're trying to stay motivated, right? You want to make sure that you have a routine, that you're not getting bogged down by the news, you're not getting bogged down by the media that's going to continuously bring you down, right? So make sure that so number two is to have a consistent routine, stick to it. I started off by saying I have 10 things that I do before I am allowed to touch my phone. I will leave a link to those 10 things that you can do just to give you some inspiration. And it's simple things too, things that I just want to do every day to better my health. Right? I try to do one more push-up than I could yesterday. Right? I don't really like to try. I like to make my best attempt, right? My best possible attempt, because trying to me is preparing to fail. So I do my best to do one push-up a day, or one push-up more than what I did the day before. I read for 20 minutes. A lot of times now, because I'm reading my Bible, doing the 1 day Bible or 1 year Bible. And so it's broken up the Bible into 365 days, which is pretty cool. And then I just play it as an audiobook. In case y'all don't know, I'm dyslexic, so audiobooks are much better for me. So I spend a little bit of time just doing that. Number two, I'll make sure I drink a glass of water. It's so easy to go through the day, especially in with the fast-paced environment that we're in. It's really easy to go through a day without even thinking about drinking some water, and the whole day will go by and you haven't even taken a sip. You got your coffee or your tea or whatever other stuff, right? You got your frap, your fruit drink, whatever it is, soda. We're consuming all of these other things, but we forget that we really need water. Our bodies are really good at extracting the water from the foods that we eat, but it's really important to make sure you're drinking at least a gallon of water a day. just that helps you flush through your system. I think we're like what 70% water, so you want to make sure you have that. So these aspects, like having a routine, making sure you're working like specific hours. If you, especially if you work for yourself, if you're thinking of working for yourself, you have to set your hours. This is, I wake up, I work at this time, and I end work at this time. And that can vary if you want to change it, but you really want we want to get, what is it, your, not your biological clock, your, I wish I remembered the name. There's a specific bodily clock. The name is like right here on the tip of my tongue, but it's like it's escaping me. But yeah, so you want to make sure that you're in that rhythm, circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythm, is that right? Please tell me that's right. If you know, let me know in the comments below if you think that that's right, because I might just be making that up. But you want to make sure that you are in your rhythm, in your flow of things, right? Number three, surround yourself with positive influences. I cannot stress this enough, man. So many people like will keep toxic friends around just because they don't want to be lonely. Listen, if you can just stand yourself for a week, right? Just at least a week, just cut off those toxic friends, bro. It will do you wonders to cut out anybody that's like not really on the wave. When you talk to people, you tell them about your ideas and they try to bring you down, or they try to tell you, oh, you can't do it because I couldn't do it, or whatever it is, because misery loves company. Cut those people out your life, man. You only want people in your life who celebrate you, who tell you how beautiful you are, who promote you, who inspire you to create more and build more and try new things, right? You want those types of friends in your circle. And those friends come as a product of you really self-regulating and figuring out who you are. But you can't figure out who you are if you're always surrounded by toxicity, because you're not toxic by yourself. You're not a toxic individual. So you want to make sure you're having people around you who aren't toxic, who aren't what do you call it? Poisoning your well, your youthful well, or your well of the future, right? That's bringing you towards your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, your excitement. You want to make sure that you have good positive influences in your life. It's so important. It's so important. If you don't take anything, take that. Because if I, like the old saying goes, show me who your friends are and I will show you who you are. If your friends aren't doing shit, you ain't gonna be doing shit. You want to be around people that are doing stuff, that are hustling, that are motivating you. It's like, yo, bro, let's go to the gym. Come to the gym with me. I'm going to the gym. And they're not gonna not go to the gym just because you say no to them, right? You want a friend like that. And then you be like, damn, I'm gonna go to the gym because that dude is at the gym all the time, right? And I love his physique. I love what he's doing with his body, with his life. He's putting in those daily deposits, right? I like that, the daily deposits. And you want to make sure that you're surrounding yourself with people like that who are motivating you to create and do more. That's a big step in motivation. Number 4, we flying through these, y'all. Number 4, embrace mindfulness and gratitude. Mindfulness and gratitude, y'all. I've been reading my Bible so much more lately, and it's really been helpful. And honestly, I came across somebody that I really like. You guys might know him, you might not know him. His name is Jordan Peterson. He's an amazing philosopher. He's just a great thinker. And I came across him a while ago, back in like 2019, I think it was. And my wife and I were actually about to split up. We were going through some really hard times, and things were just not going very well. And it was and she watches a lot of documentaries and videos and stuff, and she had left YouTube on one time, and she wasn't even home. She left YouTube on, and YouTube will just like choose another video or the next video or something. And so I open it up, and I'm seeing this man speaking, and I'm like, whoa, like who is this guy? I have a deep love for profound thinkers. I have huge admiration for profound thinkers, and I consider myself a profound thinker. But being a black man, especially in the urban community, it's hard to find people who are down to have those philosophical conversations at the level that you want to have them, right? So a lot of times I would find myself like going into talking about stuff, and like people would find it boring, or like I'd spend hours, like I'll watch a whole video, like a whole lecture, and like send it to a friend, and they'd be like, I ain't watching that stuff. And but I found myself gravitating towards people like just there's just really, I love eloquent speakers. I'm an actor. I love Shakespeare. And so when I came across this guy's videos, I started just watching them, and I loved the stuff that he was saying. I just like, it really helped just on a personal level, not because not for any other reason other than that. Like, I was dealing with stuff with my wife. I didn't know how to handle it. And here's this guy who was like just really speaking my language in terms of how to live a better life and aiming upwards. And so a lot of the philosophies that you will see me talk about on this channel are based on the things that I've learned from him. And so I started really getting into mindfulness. I started getting into reading my Bible. He has a series called The Psychological Significance of the Bible. And you may or may not know that I was born and raised a Seventh-day Adventist growing up, and then I lost my faith around college. Right before I went to college, I watched a couple of videos that completely like turned my whole religious perspective upside down. But still being in college, I had this like connection to my faith, to my love, to my admiration for God, right? I felt like God was still with me, despite the fact that I didn't really believe in the church. I didn't believe in going to church or even in Christianity as a whole. I was just like so confused and lost. But still, I'm still attached to this for some reason. So, fast forward, that's 2009. Fast forward to 10 years later, literally, I just thought about that. Me and my wife are going through stuff, and I find this guy who's talking about the Bible in a way that feels secular, but it's also rooted in the Bible. It's rooted in like all of the fundamental beliefs that I have of life, and the things that kept bringing me back to religion, or kept bringing me back to, not religion, to God, right? It kept bringing me back to this foundation of a spirit. And so when I found that, and I watched all these lectures, man, I just dove in. I watched every single lecture that he had, and I'm like, I just want to know everything this man has to say, because I'm all for it. And there's some things that I disagree with, like I do with everybody, but in terms of like his philosophies on life, I was really just digging it. And I say that to say it got me back into reading my Bible, to understanding the Bible in a way that was less dogmatic, that was not so dogmatic is the best word I can think of right now. Not so judgmental, to more of a wholesome understanding of what the people who wrote the Bible collectively were trying to say and were trying to communicate to the rest of humanity. If you think about the Bible, it's a library of books that's what Bible means, library, biblioteca, if you speak Spanish. It's a library of information, and to me, what I see the Bible as is a collection of mankind's greatest stories, right? You can see every single story of that anybody's ever told, you could find it in the Bible. Like stories of sex, full of stories of, of great kings, of all types of stuff. And so as I started to get this new perspective of how to look at this religious text, I started to see the foundations of my life falling into a place where I could emulate those same things and put those same things into practice and watch how my life got better. I watched how I was able to navigate near divorce, right? Like near divorce, all sorts of things like infidelity in relationships, just everything. I was able to really follow the path of righteousness, and every time life hit me with something that can destroy people, right? Like something like infidelity can destroy people. And I watched myself navigate these things with such ease, with such like patience, with such trust. And it was all due to this new perspective rooted in the fruit of the Spirit, right? Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And with all of those pieces adding up into your life, right? They can give you really a foundation from which to build and stay motivated and stay productive, which is what we're talking about. So mainly I say all of that to say, number 4, it's important to practice mindfulness. I practice meditation every day now. I follow Russell Brand. If you follow the YouTube channel Awakening with Russell Brand, he has some great nuggets on how to meditate. Also read The Power of Stillness. Is it The Power of Stillness? Transcendental Meditation, maybe. I can't remember if that's the name, but something about transcendental meditation. It's really a great Tim Ferriss wrote 4-Hour Workweek. There's a lot of books that I've been reading, audiobooks, so I kind of got them all mixed up in my head. But yes, practice mindfulness, practice meditation. It can do so much for you. Some people see prayer as meditation. That's fine as well. But you just want to find that center. Find a way to connect to source energy, God, the universe, Allah, whatever it is that you want to call it, the great power, the great I am. You want to find a way to connect to that as often as possible to recenter yourself, and that'll help you stay motivated. It'll help you stay grounded, and it'll help you weather the storm whenever problems arise in your life. So lastly, stay agile and adapt to change. We came up with a phrase, at least I can't remember. I think it was Gabrielle that came up with this phrase at the beginning of the pandemic. An artist adapts, right? We are artists. I believe that every single human being on this planet is an artist. And you might not think you might think you're not an artist. Oh, I can't paint to save my life. I can't draw. I can't do all these things. But what I mean by we are artists, we are creators, right? Creators are people who can imagine something and then bring it to fruition. We imagine one thing, we say, this is what I want. It could be your life. It could be, if you're an accountant, it could be numbers and figuring out, that there's a way to finesse these numbers so that it makes sense. You see it in your mind, and then you can bring it to fruition. Animals, as far as we know, can't do that, right? So we are artists. That's what separates humans from other animals. We are able to see something. This what makes us God. We have that gift of creation the same way God does, that we can, boom, I see it, boom, I want it here, and now it's here. I got it, right? So with that being said, you want to know, that you're an artist, and artists are comfortable always walking the line between chaos and order, right? The chaos and order, I'll talk a lot about that, uh, is basically what the yin yang, the Tao Te Ching yin yang symbol is. It is the it is that's what all life is made up of. It's chaos and order. Chaos is the void, it's the darkness, it's from which everything comes. It can be seen as Mother Nature, right? And then you have the order, which can be seen as Father Time, consciousness, light, right? There's all those things, and we need both of those in order to have a functioning life. And great artists are able to walk that line in the middle, right? As creators, we can say, all right, we can pull from the void, we can pull from the darkness, we can pull from the all of the things that aren't, and bring it into what is, but by also keeping you guessing, right? That's why the line in between the yin yang isn't a straight line. It's kind of curved because it moves like a snake. It's supposed to be unpredictable. You don't know where it's going to kind of head next, whether it's going to be up, whether it's going to be down, whether it's going to be left, whether it's going to be right. And you want to master walking right in between those two things, to have your foot in the chaos, to have your foot in the order, one foot in order, one foot in chaos, and bringing those two things together to make something beautiful. That's how great music. Think about a great song, right? When you listen to a great song, it's predictable enough, right? Where it's not just noise, because unpredictable sound is just noise. You can't make anything of it. And but it's not too predictable. It's not too much on the other side into order, right? Where it gets boring. It's kind of keeps you guessing. It's like, I'm flowing with that. I love that. Wow, I wasn't really expecting it to go there, but I love that we went there. So that's really, as an artist, you have to recognize you want to adapt. And as artists in life, in everything, life is going to throw you curveballs. And if you really want to be a master of life, you're going to have to go with the flow, right? Pivot. You got to pivot. It's that sometimes you have to just do it. And it's those pivots sometimes. It's like, whoa, like you don't really expect that from somebody, and then when they do it, it's impressive, So you always want to be able to pivot. You don't want to be too rigid, and you don't want to be too willy-nilly to move around. So with that being said, y'all, I have to actually go. I totally forgot that I was I'm supposed to be going over to Rax to record the studio record 3 songs. I'm gonna take some of y'all. If you follow me on Instagram, I'll be taking y'all. But I'm glad I got to get through all of those things, man. But until next time, I'll catch you on the flip side every Monday at 8 p.m. See y'all next week. Peace.